Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am doing something that is so long overdue, but I finally had time to sit down and gather everything together and let you all know all the details surrounding my wedding. This is pretty much how my husband and I planned, saved, and paid for our own wedding. So just to give you guys some little bit of backstory, my husband and I got engaged last June. It was June 15th, 2018. And a month later, on July the 16th, 2018, we closed on our first home. And so you guys know with, buying and building a home, it comes with a lot of costs. So, a lot of deposits, the down payment, furnishing the home. So we were just doing the most last year. I'm just going to go ahead and say that financial wise, so when we got engaged, honestly, planning a wedding was like the last thing on my mind. Cause I was like, I got to get into my house. I got to furnish my house, have something to lay on. So, all that planning and stuff, I'll worry about it later. So it was about August, the beginning of August, when I finally was like, okay, let me go ahead and figure out what's going on with this wedding. I was bombarded with the most asked question, which was, have you set a date yet? And do you know where the wedding's going to be at? So I was like, as long as we get those two things or those two questions answered, then we can really chill and focus on everything else. So last August, there was a lot of wedding shows in our area. So we went to a lot of wedding shows. We checked out a couple of venues, and that's how we kind of began our wedding planning process. So the very first thing that we did was sit down and establish a preliminary guest list. So I put together my list of people that I absolutely had to have in my wedding, and I had 80 people. My husband added his people to that list, and y'all, the list was like at 260. And I was like, okay, so no, this is what we're not gonna do. So we were able to kind of condense that list down to like a solid 200 people. That's what we both felt comfortable with. And so that's the number that we were able to move forward with when we went searching for venues. So when it came to venues, a lot of the places that we checked out, we gave them the number that we had, but we were fairly open as far as the date. We didn't really have any restrictions at all. We just knew it had to be, after the date that we were visiting these places. And I'll tell you why later. So the very first thing, like I said, was to establish a guest list and a guest count. So with that guest count, we were able to, add venues to our list of places that we wanted to check out, as well as X out some places that we know that could not accommodate the amount of people that we had. We went searching for venues. Honestly, we only checked out maybe like 3 or 4 places. There was one place, we were stuck between 2 places. The first place that my husband really liked, because he is a landscape architecture, he's big into outdoors and scenery and grass and all that stuff. So there was an outdoor venue that we had checked out, but me being, the anxious person that I am, and the way my anxiety was set up, I was like, I can't commit to this because the backup plan, I needed to see their backup plan in the event of rain, and the indoor venue was just not as big for the amount of people that we had. So I was just like, I just don't feel comfortable doing this. And I just want to say thank God for my discernment, because it ended up raining on our wedding day. So if we were out there at that venue outside, it would have just been a disaster. So that left us with the next option, which is the place that we went with. My sister-in-law and I went and visited it, and it was just a traditional ballroom. It fit up to like 350 people. There was on-site catering, and there was on-site bar service and all of that. It also included the Chiavari chairs that a lot of venues don't include. It included tables, it included linens, it included silverware. And so that was a big thing for me, because a lot of these places, you have to rent all that stuff. So it's like, yeah, they give you the space, but you got to fill it up. You got to rent all these Chiavari chairs. You got to rent the tables and the linens and all of that. So I was glad that this place included everything, and the price was freaking amazing. So there was a standard price for the ballroom, as well as the suites that we used for the bridal suite and the groom suite. And then they had a price per plate for the catering, as well as when it came to the bar, we were just kind of like, well, just give us an estimate if we put this amount on the bar, how much would it be? So thankfully they were able to give us an invoice pretty much of how much it would be with 200 guests at this amount of meal, or this price per meal, for the appetizers, for the ballroom, for the guest suites that we rented as well. And so we kind of had an overall price, and that kind of helped us when it came to our budget, because we knew, okay, well, in the venue and in the catering, we have to have this set amount for that. One thing we didn't do, and I want to, strongly encourage you, if it's important to you, definitely try to stick to that number that you have in your head. I mean, first of all, of course, do all the research so that you can, accurately estimate that number, but try to stick to it as much as you can if budget is really important to you. It was important to us, but we kind of had some wiggle room with it, especially if, it was everything that we wanted. I will say that my husband and I are both the oldest of our siblings, and we were the first to get married. We've been to weddings in our families before, but they were a long time ago, so they weren't as like upscale and luxury as weddings are nowadays. So it was kind of important for the both of us to have that wedding for, not only just for us, but for our friends and our family, because we wanted everybody to experience a luxury and upscale and just overall nice wedding. That's why I say we had a little bit of wiggle room on the budget, because we kind of knew, with the event that we were trying to put on, that it was going to come with the cost. I looked at the venue. It was very nice. My fiance wasn't with me, but I was pretty confident that he would like it. So I went ahead and, went back and forth with the property manager on the dates, and we secured our date as well as put down our deposit. And that was in the beginning of August of last year. So after that, I pretty much was chilling because I was like, I got my date. We got our venue. We're good. So I will go ahead and throw this in here. And not a lot of people know this, but my husband and I actually, on our wedding day last year, we went to the courthouse and got legally married. Really super intimate. It was just like literally my mom and his dad as our witnesses. And the reason why we did that is because, like you guys know, we bought our house and moved in together. And we're both raised Christian. And my husband is really big in his church. He's like a trustee, and he plays in the music ministry and all of that. And so it was kind of like weighing heavy on us as far as living together unmarried, even though we had like bought the house. And I knew we were going to get engaged after a while, but I was just like, I don't know. It wasn't really a big deal to me, but the way he set up in the ministry and all that, it was like, let's just go ahead and do it. So we legally got married on August the 24th of 2018. And I just want to throw that out there, because talking to a lot of married couples, people do that. That is a thing. They may not necessarily do it on the date that their wedding is, but some people just go ahead and get married beforehand. And it worked out perfectly because, like I said, we went to the courthouse on August 24th, 2018. So on our wedding day this year, it was technically our 1-year anniversary. And so we don't have to keep up with a whole bunch of different anniversaries or anything like that. We just have one anniversary, which is August the 24th. So I don't know. I guess and only select people know, like our parents, of course, and siblings and stuff like that. But that's what we did. Just wanted to throw that out there. If you're thinking about it, you and your fiance live together and it's kind of weighing heavy on you, like, that's definitely an option. Nobody has to know. And like I said, I'm just being transparent with you guys and telling you. And I'll probably announce it like on our anniversary or something, because it'll technically be our 2nd year anniversary, and I need that year, because marriage is work, and I'm not, it ain't no 1 year. It's technically our 2nd year anniversary. And then after that, we chilled hard. I mean, we did little stuff like picking out a wedding party and formally asking them to be in the wedding. We got some ideas as far as color schemes and what we were thinking we wanted to do, but that's pretty much it. In December, we took our engagement pictures, and we collected addresses for everybody. And I'm going to give you some tools that really, really helped me. The knot.com was a freaking lifesaver. Literally everything that you need is on there. I used that to host our wedding website. So I put all our information in there. They have the ability on there for you to send out like an address form to everybody, and they put in their information, and then the Knot will store it as a guest list for you, which is freaking amazing. And then you can send out like email reminders, text reminders. You can send out you can allow people to go on your website and RSVP using the knot. So just a disclaimer, the knot is freaking amazing. I didn't use the knot for my address collection. I used Google Forms. I just created a basic Google form and just text the link out to everybody or emailed it out. Okay, so here are the save the dates that we ordered. Like I said, they were a magnet. I really like the magnet idea because you can literally like put it up on people's refrigerator. They're always going to see it. They're always going to be reminded. And they also get like a nice little cute picture of you guys. So the lighting is not letting me be great. But here's the magnet. Like I said, I just uploaded our picture up onto Vistaprint, chose this template, and placed the order. I ordered like maybe like 130 something of them for like $60. So Vistaprint is really cheap if you're looking for somewhere to order save the dates. So I sent out save the dates. We were really early, and most people say to send them out like 6 months prior to, but I sent them out like 8 months because I was pressed. Like I'm always pressed, y'all, if you didn't know by now. So I didn't really have a budget for my dress. I knew I wasn't going to do anything like outrageous because, again, I was paying for my dress out of my pocket. So I was all big on sales. So of course, when New Year's came around, a lot of bridal boutiques and places have sales on their like sample dresses or just trying to get stuff out of the door. And so I made an appointment at a boutique here in North Carolina, and I went and visited. I tried on a couple of dresses. I didn't really have like a set vision, but I just knew like what kind of styles I liked and colors and schemes and all that stuff. And I tried on, like I said, maybe about 4 or 5 dresses. And the last dress I tried on, I was like, oh, this is it. And I'm really simple. I'm basic. I didn't have to do a whole bunch. It wasn't really a big deal to me. So I felt comfortable with that dress. The price was just right. And I put down the deposit on my dress that day and it was ordered. So, I mean, like I said, and literally it was just my mom and my sister with me. So it's not like a big deal, or it wasn't like a big deal. It wasn't anything like super fancy. I didn't have like my whole bridal party with me. It was literally, I was just going to look, and I just so happened ending up finding my dress. So it just worked out like that. So maybe about February, we finally decided to sit down and talk with a wedding designer. So my cousin just so happens to be Demetrius Faison of Creative Touch Events, and he's a huge luxury wedding planner and designer here in North Carolina. He services everywhere in the U.S., or pretty much everywhere anywhere, but he's really big in North Carolina. Like, he literally does everybody's weddings here. So we sat down with him and kind of just gave him all we did literally was give him like the venue. We gave him our color schemes, and that was literally it. I know my cousin knows me. We grew up together, so he kind of knows like my vibe and how I'm feeling. He knew my husband was like into landscaping, so that's why you saw a lot of greenery in our colors and schemes, because that was important for him. Like, we had trees all in the ballroom, and so I kind of just gave him the colors, like I said, and I showed him my dress. And I just let him run with it. So he styled all my husband as well as the groomsmen. He styled all of them. Those were custom tuxes. So that was that. Like I said, we met with the designer. Once he like put everything kind of together, preliminary, he gave us his ballpark estimate for his services, and I was able to add that in to that top number. And that's how we knew, okay, you know, we had the venue and the catering, and then we had the design. We had a ballpark estimate of, you know, how much that was going to cost. And when it came to my bridesmaids, I went looking a few times just to get an idea of what I wanted them to wear. But I was very open. So, and I didn't want them to spend a lot of money. That was like really, really important to me, because I know, like, being a bridesmaid, I didn't want them to spend a whole bunch of money on a dress they would never wear again. So in March, I gathered all my bridesmaids together. I found 3 gowns that I liked at Carolina Bridal World here in Burlington, and they were all by the same designer. And I knew with that champagne color that I wanted them to wear like a satin material. So I found Mielle was a designer that I decided to go with, and there were 3 bridesmaid dresses that all had the same silhouette, but they had different tops. So I sent all my bridesmaids the 3 different options. I told them to pick which ones they wanted, because like I said, I wanted them to find something that they would most likely wear again. So I allowed them to pick out whatever top they wanted. And then in March, we went and ordered the dresses, and they were super cheap. Like, I don't think anybody paid more than $150. And they ordered their dresses. It was like a 3-month turnaround-ish. So like I said, in March, we ordered them. That way they were available in June-ish to be able to be altered or anything like that if need be. I solicited a lot of quotes when it came to all the extra stuff. Now, the extra stuff was, let's see, the photo booth, the photographer, the videographer. We had a live band, our wedding cake, the DJ, any extra linens that we wanted, any extra tableware that we wanted, and hair, and what else? All that other extra stuff, stationery, like invitations and stuff like that. I kind of ballpark estimated those, as well as got quotes for a lot of that. And that's how we kind of had, I say like maybe about March-ish, the end of March, we kind of knew, okay, the wedding is going to cost us about this amount of money. The way we saved for that was, I lived off of one paycheck every single month from like August to August for like a year. I get paid twice a month. So I saved the other one, and we had a joint account that I named Wedding Fund. And so I was putting literally like one paycheck every month into that joint account, because I knew like if we decided to kind of like just evenly split the bill or split the budget. So I knew I needed to have X amount of money saved up, and that Deontay would match my X amount of money, and that was our budget for the wedding. So every month, I would just like put half of my paycheck into that wedding fund, and that's pretty much how we saved. Deontay, well, my husband is not. He wasn't like as strict on a budget as I was. He kind of just like at the end of when it was time to like pay everything, he kind of just gave me his amount outright. So I will say it's important to take gifts from people. Completely unexpectedly, my grandmother offered to pay for my wedding dress. So like I said, I had put that deposit down, and, I was telling her about it, and she offered to pay for it. So she sent me all the money for the dress. So I literally like paid myself back from the deposit that I had paid, as well as went ahead and paid off the dress completely with the money that she sent me. So thank you, Grandma, for paying for my wedding dress. I really appreciate it. And other stuff like the photographer, my mom actually offered to pay for that. That was our wedding gift from her. So she paid for our photographer for us. And our photographer was freaking amazing. Shout out to Timmy Lola. She is freaking bomb. I'm linking her below. Like, she makes all the melanin pop in her pictures. They're so crisp. I was looking through them. I was like, these pictures look more clear than the day me like experiencing it firsthand. It's just crazy. She's freaking amazing. Shout out to you, girl. So my mom paid for her, for our photographer, and then my maternal grandmother actually offered to pay for our videographer. So she paid for that. So that was, able to cut that out of our budget, that big number that we had. We were able to cut those expenses out because we were able to take those gifts from family members. My father-in-law offered to pay for our rehearsal dinner. So I think traditionally the groom's parents do take care of that. So, thankfully he was willing and able to do that for us. So that was able, more money that came out of that big budget number that we had. I just want to put this disclaimer out there. My husband, he's known me for years, and he knew, like, coming into this, when he proposed to me and all of that, he knew that, because traditionally the bride's parents are supposed to pay, and he knew that wasn't going to be the case. I don't come from money. I knew, like, we discussed it, and I told him up front, like, look, if you're expecting my parents to pay for it, that's not going to happen. It's just going to have to be me and you. He was more than willing to pay, and he understood. And so, I just don't come from money. We don't have it like that. So I knew that we were going to have to do it together. And, he was definitely on the same page with me. So, that's another tip I would say, is to take any gifts from family members, take them. Like, instead of buying me, sheets hey, chip in on this or chip in for that. And so that's definitely what we did. We definitely took advantage of that. So that was able to knock some of those big expenses out for us. Like I said, rehearsal dinner, the photographer, the videographer, my dress, those were all gifts from family members, and they took care of those things for us. Stationery. So I was really big on DIYing whatever I could. For our invitations, I did order those off of Shutterfly. They always have like 50% off sales and stuff like that. So I was able to order, and I'll put some pictures in here. The invitation, there was a little details card on there. There was a RSVP card, and then I ordered like a band to put everything in, and sent those out. The addresses, the envelopes were really nice, and they were self-addressed, or they were addressed as well for us. So that saved us in printing costs. And I think I paid maybe like $360 for like 110 invitations with all of those details on them. So it's kind of pricey, and looking back, I wish I would have kind of did it myself, but it was cool to it was like pressure off of me to have somebody do all that for me and just send them to me, and literally we just sent them out. So we did that in June, I think, when we did that. But all the other stationery was DIY. I did our own programs. I found templates off of Etsy, literally filled in the details, and I bought the really nice shimmery paper stock off of Amazon, took that bad boy to Office Depot and printed all the programs out myself. Same with the menus. I did the menus myself, and the place cards. So we only did place cards at our 2 head tables. So I did all those place cards myself. All of these are just templates off of Etsy. Then like the little signage around the wedding, I did those off of Etsy and printed them myself. So like, here's our guest book, or we're having sparklers at 10 p.m. The bar menu, I found the template off of Etsy and printed that out. And then I just put them in these nice little gold picture frames that I bought from Dollar Tree for $1. So whatever you can DIY, I would highly suggest you do that yourself. My flower girl, I found her dress on Amazon for like $20. And then AliExpress was my freaking best friend. I bought so much stuff off of AliExpress, y'all. My bridesmaids robes and my robe, I got those off of AliExpress. I think I paid like $60 for about like 10 robes, so like $6 a piece. I bought my bridesmaids earrings off of AliExpress. They were so cheap. My flower girl basket, I got that off of AliExpress. Guest book, I think I got that at like Hobby Lobby, and Hobby Lobby always has a 40% off coupon, so I think I paid no more than like $4 or $5 for our guest book off of Hobby Lobby. My mom and my godmom put together a nice little bird cage for me for our cards, and they just spray painted it gold and decorated, put some little greenery on it, and I think they got that off of Amazon. So like I said, whatever I could DIY, I DIY'd, and that was important to me because I had to save money wherever I can, because everything was coming out of that big budget number. And I will say that big budget number did include our honeymoon. So I worked with a travel agent to secure our honeymoon, and that actually helped because I was able to pay little by little each month leading up to. I think it just had to be paid off 45 days before we left. So that was a lifesaver, being able to, pay your honeymoon off on a kind of like a payment plan. So we did that. And for our flights, many of you guys may or may not know, but I travel for my job a lot. So I rack up a whole bunch of points. So I literally use my points to buy me and my husband's airfare. So I was literally just saving wherever I could. And another question that I got was kind of like, how did you guys decipher what you absolutely had to have on your wedding day versus what would just be nice to have? We didn't, y'all. Like I said, we knew that we had to set the bar high and that we had to go all out. So kind of like everything we wanted, we just got. The live band was such a hit. Like I said, my husband is a musician, and so he had a lot of friends, and he gathered some friends together to be a band, and we had an amazing singer. J Renee, I'm gonna leave her information below too. She was freaking amazing. Makeup. I did not realize that makeup was so expensive, y'all. I was getting quotes like earlier on last year, and people were like, oh, for the bride it'll be like $350 and like $85 per bridesmaid and mother of bride. And I was like, what are y'all doing to my face? It's $350. So I actually ended up going with one of my good friends from high school. She was more than willing and available to help me with doing my face as well as my bridesmaids. So she got us all the way together for a really good price. So I'm going to link her information below because she's amazing. Hair. I think I spilled, if you follow me on Instagram, I spilled all the deets on my hair. But I was super simple when it came to my hair. I knew I didn't want to straighten my hair because we were going to be leaving for the honeymoon. And so I knew I wanted to keep it as natural as possible. So y'all, I literally slicked down my hair with olive, some Eco Styler gel. I did these little tendrils right here with some Flexi rods. And what else did I do? Oh, and I got a little ponytail. I got a ponytail from the beauty supply store for $12.99. It was the Free Tress spring water ponytail, I think, for $12.99. And I literally had my hairstylist put it on my hair, and that was it, y'all. My accessories, I did go a little bit overboard. I got my accessories from this Etsy shop, and I'll leave it below, but it was this freaking gorgeous headpiece that I just had to have. And I was like, well, I might as well just go ahead and get the matching earrings. So that was like I splurged a little bit on that, but I'll leave her information below because she's a real sweetheart, and she handmade my jewelry for me. So that was really, a nice touch to the wedding day. And what else, y'all? I don't know. Like I said, we kind of knew that we had to have like all of the jaw-dropping effects. Like I knew that I wanted the what is it, like fog on the ground when I was walking out. So that was really sweet. A lot of people weren't expecting that. So it kind of looked like I was like walking on clouds when I was walking down the aisle. During our reception and our first dance, we had indoor fireworks go off, and everybody was freaking stunned by that. Like, me and Deontay knew it was gonna happen, we just didn't know when. And so when they went off and we were dancing during our first dance, like everybody was like, oh my gosh, like this is the wedding of the year. And so we were just like the freaking band, the live band, the girl sung her face off. Like everything was just so nice. And a lot of our friends and family were just like, y'all did that. And I just couldn't be more happier and more proud because, it takes a lot. Like I said, I was looking out for one paycheck for a whole year, one paycheck a month for a whole year. So, I was being real tight on everything. And honestly, it just all paid off. It really did. I think the Sharp affair was literally the best day of my life ever. Nothing can compare. And I'm just so thankful that we had the means to, plan and execute our wedding to our liking with our own money. Like a lot of people, can't really say that. And, a lot of people also were like, why would you spend that much money in a wedding? It's just one day and you gotta, plan for your marriage and save for your wedding. All that. It was just like, people talk, y'all know. And honestly, it was just like, well, we already have a house, so it's not like we need to save our money for a down payment. And, we already travel, so traveling wasn't that big of a deal to us. And like I said, it was the only time a lot of people in our families and friend groups would see a wedding of this caliber. So it was important for us to like put that on for them. So that was a lot. I just did a lot of talking. I think I covered everything for the most part. And I'll just go back down to it. First of all, put together a guest list. That way you know how many people you are expecting. Then put together a preliminary budget, like get quotes from everybody so that you can kind of get an overall estimate of how much you're going to be spending for your wedding. Stick to your budget as much as possible. Don't go into debt if you don't have to. I'm so glad that we didn't have to go into debt over a wedding. Because a lot of people do, y'all. A lot of people do. And there's no shade towards them or anything like that, because it could very easily could have been us. DIY as much as you can. Use your connections. Cash in on those gifts early. If you want to save people from buying you little stuff that you don't necessarily have to have, ask for the cash. Use that for some of your vendors. Negotiate as much as possible. Use your connections, use friends and family. If your friends or family do different things, like, use them. If you have a friend that does hair, use her for your hair. If she does good, of course. If you have friends that do makeup, use them. Photography, videography, anything. Use your friends. Put that money in their pocket. And they'll definitely greatly appreciate you for that. Enjoy the process. It's stressful. I didn't even tell y'all, but like I told y'all, I touched on it a little bit earlier, but we did have custom tucks for our groomsmen. And y'all, the Monday before our wedding, the tucks came in the mail and they were purple. They were purple and I cried like a baby. That was the first time that I had broken down like the whole wedding planning process. I was just like, I don't know what to do. So they came in purple. Thankfully, we were able to work with the designer very closely. He did a lot of overnight shipping. He had to correct some stuff, but our groomsmen literally got their blue tux on Friday before the wedding, Friday evening. And we had to literally have 2 seamstresses at the rehearsal there on site when they tried on their jackets to fix anything that they needed to. So it was a lot of last minute stuff, but honestly, I wouldn't change anything for the world. It ended up being the absolute, like I said, the best day of my life. Stuff happens, but you just gotta breathe. Realize that, you know, what you're going through is only temporary and that everything will pay off in the end, because that's definitely something that I was like crying on Monday and literally everything turned around and it was a complete 180 on Friday. Like everything was lined up into what it needed to be. So enjoy the process. Wedding planning is stressful, but don't let it get to you. It's fun and your wedding day is going to, everything will pay off. Like you won't even mind what happened, because it's just going to be amazing. So like I said, I'm going to leave all of my vendor information below, as well as some of the Etsy links that I use for templates and stuff like that, so y'all can check that out. Let me know if there's any questions, because I can of course like do a part 2 if y'all need me to. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye guys.